friends, it is I Day here at the ABCs of Kidtown. And for I Day, we are going to talk about insects. So remember, I can make two different sounds. It can do the short like an insect, and it can also say I, its name, like an ice cream, when there's like a sneaky E or a silent E like we talked about before. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the parts of an insect, the life cycle of an insect. I have a book for you, The Very Lazy Ladybug, and then I have a little outdoor activity that I'd love you to do. So here is my little chart of the parts of an insect. So they have eyes, just like us. They have legs, okay? They have an abdomen. So when the abdomen is right here. And on us, our abdomen is where our abs are, okay? Up here. So that's how we're the same as an insect. And then they have something called a thorax. So that's the bottom part of the like core body part of the insect. And then they also have wings. Okay. So here is, I found this fun puzzle at Tree Town when I was there grabbing some things for my videos. And I found this kind of life cycle of a butterfly. So if we were to be at Tree Town, we would have, can you see me?
Yeah.
You good? Okay. We would have gotten some caterpillars and watched them grow over a couple of weeks. So this is actually the life cycle of a butterfly. So I know it's not the same, but at least we can kind of see what would have happened had we had our butterflies at Tree Town. So first you start out with the actual butterfly, okay? And the butterfly finds a little leaf. And then you're gonna see right here, these tiny little circles. He lays eggs on the leaf. And then what happens next is that, where's my next page? There we go. Is that from those tiny little eggs, tiny little caterpillars are born. So there's they're little tiny green ones, and they grow up to be big black caterpillars with lots of legs. Then what happens is they find a spot to attach, to kind of hang from a branch or something. In this case, it would have been, at Tree Town, it would have been like on the outside of this like mesh cage that we had for them. Or actually up on the top, so there's like a little roof to it. So they would have found a little place to attach, and then they would start making their chrysalis. So that's what this is. So it's almost like, kind of like a sleeping bag, which is kind of cool, that they make themselves. And they'd be in there for maybe a week or so. And they don't all hatch at the same time, but after it's grown its wings inside the chrysalis and kind of transformed into the butterfly, they crack out of their chrysalis, and their wings are wet at first. So they actually have to wait. They can't fly right away. So then they have to wait for their wings to kind of dry off and stiffen up. And then we would have let the butterflies go. So here's this beautiful butterfly. So that's kind of the life cycle of a butterfly, which I thought was great in that puzzle. Here is a fun book that we actually would have acted out. We would have made the face costume or the animal costumes and stuff. So we're doing the next best thing. We're going to read the book. The Very Lazy Ladybug. This is the story of a very lazy ladybug. She liked to sleep all day and all night. Because she slept all day and all night, this lazy ladybug didn't know how to fly. I bet some of you are feeling a little lazy these days. It's okay though. One day, the lazy ladybug wanted to sleep somewhere else, but what could she do if she couldn't fly? Then the lazy ladybug had a very good idea. When a kangaroo bounded by, she hopped into her pouch. But the kangaroo liked to jump. I can't sleep in here, cried the lazy ladybug. It's too bumpy. So when a tiger padded by, she hopped onto his back. But the tiger liked to roar. I can't sleep in here, said the lazy ladybug. It's too noisy. So when a crocodile swam by, she hopped onto his tail. But the crocodile liked to swish his tail in the water. I can't sleep here, said the lazy ladybug. I'll fall into the river. So when a monkey swung by, she hopped onto her head. But the monkey liked to swing from branch to branch. I can't sleep here, said the lazy ladybug. I'm feeling dizzy. So when a bear ambled by, she hopped onto his ear. But the bear liked to scratch. I can't sleep here, said the lazy ladybug. He'll never sit still. So when a tortoise plodded by, well, that would be a really slow ride, she hopped onto her shell. But the tortoise liked to snooze in the sun. I can't sleep here, said the lazy ladybug. It's too hot. So when an elephant walked by, I can't think of what would be wrong with the elephant. Can you? She hopped onto his trunk. Ah, at last, thought the lazy ladybug, I found someone who doesn't jump or roar or swish his tail or scratch or swing or snooze. But at that very moment, the elephant, can you see where the lazy ladybug is? What do you think's going to happen? Sneezed. Achoo! And the poor old lazy ladybug had to fly at last. So she was kind of forced to stop being lazy, right? So I thought that was a cute story and so fun to act out. So you can actually even act it out at home if you wanted to, with your stuffed animals or your Barbies or your family members, right? So my last activity is I thought it would be fun to go outside and find two different insects. So here I kind of made a ladybug and I made like a moth. And if you do find them, you want to be really gentle with them and maybe put them on a plate or something, or in a little container like a plastic cup or something, or glass jar or something, and make sure that it can still breathe. But then also have like a magnifying glass maybe, so that you can look at it up close because they're pretty small. And then try and figure out the ways that they are the same and the way that they're different. So I know way back when, I think it was the mitten and the hat, we made a Venn diagram. So that's when you make two circles, but you make them overlap. So in the very middle is where you talk about how they're the same. So for my bugs, I know a ladybug and a moth, they both have wings. So I would do that. I would write wings, or you could even draw a picture if you don't want to do, you don't want to sound it out. So they both have wings. So that's the way that they are the same. So that's why I put it in the middle of the diagram. Now, something that just the ladybug has that the moth doesn't have is spots. So I could just draw some spots, right? So spots. Now, something that the moth has that the ladybug doesn't have, I would have to think about that. And maybe that would have to be something that I would have to look at with my magnifying glass. Maybe it's the color. I know the moths that I've seen are kind of like brown. So I would write brown. Because I know the ladybug is red and black. So on either side, it's how they're different. And then in the middle is how they're the same. So maybe that would be a fun outdoor activity for you to do. And I sent a Venn diagram like worksheet to your parents, so you can just print that out too, so you don't have to make your own Venn diagram. And I think, and also I sent a YouTube video on insects, so it'll tell you a little bit more about insects. It's kind of a fun video to watch. All right, friends, have a wonderful week. Bye.